Behind the rise and fall of empires lies a spiritual battle, and Daniel gets a glimpse of that in our final chapters here in the book of Daniel. And as has been the current theme, that is a little lengthier, at least a lengthier chapter here. I want to make sure that we're not pushing too much on time. I think we'll be okay because the shorter ones too. But we'll go ahead and jump straight in. This is day 264 of our Bible in a year. We're finishing up the book of Daniel today and moving on. So let's jump into Daniel chapter 10. In the 3rd year of King Cyrus of Persia, a message was revealed to Daniel, who was named Belteshazzar. The message was true and was about a great conflict. He understood the message and had understanding of the vision. In those days, I, Daniel, was mourning for 3 full weeks. I didn't eat any rich food, no meat or wine entered my mouth, and I didn't put any oil on my body until the 3 weeks were over. On the 24th day of the 1st month, as I was standing on the bank of the great river, the Tigris, I looked up, and there was a man dressed in linen, with a belt of gold from Uphaz around his neck, around his waist. His body was like a beryl, his face was like a brilliance of lightning, his eyes like flaming torches, his arms and feet like the gleam of polished bronze, and the sound of his words like the sound of a multitude. Only I, Daniel, saw the vision. The men who were with me did not see it. But a great terror fell on them, and they ran and hid. I was left alone, looking at this great vision. No strength was left in me. My face grew deathly pale, and I was powerless. I heard the words he said, and when I heard them, I fell into a deep sleep with my face to the ground. Suddenly, a hand touched me and set me shaking on my hands and knees. He said to me, Daniel, you are a man treasured by God. Understand the words that I am saying to you. Stand on your feet, for I have now been sent to you. After he said this to me, I stood trembling. Don't be afraid, Daniel, he said to me, for from the first day that you purposed to understand, to humble yourself before God, your prayers were heard. I have come because of your prayers, but the prince of the kingdom of Persia opposed me for 21 days. Then Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me after I had been left there with the king of Persia. Now, oops, hitting all my stuff. Hold on. Now I have come to help you understand what will happen to your people in the last days, for the vision refers to those days. While he was saying these words to me, I turned my face toward the ground and was speechless. Suddenly, one like human likeness touched my lips. I opened my mouth and said to the one standing in front of me, My Lord, because of the vision, anguish overwhelms me and I am powerless. How can someone like me, your servant, speak with someone like you, my Lord? Now I have no strength and there is no breath in me. Then the one with a human appearance touched me again and strengthened me. He said, Don't be afraid. You who are treasured by God, peace to you, be very strong. As he spoke to me, I was strengthened and said, Let my Lord speak, for you have strengthened me. He said, Do you know why I've come to you? I must return at once to fight against the prince of Persia, and when I leave, the prince of Greece will come. However, I will tell you what is recorded in the book of truth. No one has the courage to support me against those princes except Michael, your prince. Chapter 11. In the 1st year of Darius the Mede, I stood up to strengthen and protect him. Now I will tell you the truth. 3 more kings will arise in Persia, and the 4th will be far richer than the others. By the power he gains through his riches, he will stir up everyone against the kingdom of Greece. Then a warrior king will arise, and he will rule a vast realm and do whatever he wants. But as soon as he established his kingdom will be broken up and divided to the 4 winds of heaven, but not to his descendants. It will not be the same kingdom that he ruled, because his kingdom will be uprooted and will go to others besides them. The king of the south will grow powerful, but one of his commanders will grow more powerful and will rule a kingdom greater than his. After some years, they will form an alliance, and the daughter of the king of the south will go to the king of the north to seal the agreement. She will not retain power, and his strength will not endure. She will be given up together with her entourage, her father, and the one who supported her during those times. In the place of the king of the south, one from her family will rise up, come against the army, and enter the fortress of the king of the north. He will take action against them and triumph. He will take even their gods captive to Egypt with their metal images and their precious articles of silver and gold. For some years he will stay away from the king of the north, who will enter the kingdom of the king of the south, and then return to his own land. His sons will mobilize for war and assemble a large number of armed forces. They will advance, sweeping through like a flood, and will again wage war as far as his fortress. Infuriated, the king of the south will march out to fight with the king of the north, who will raise a large army, but they will be handed over to his enemy. When the army is carried off, he will become arrogant and cause tens of thousands to fall, but he will not triumph. The king of the north will again raise a multitude larger than the first. After some years, he will advance with a great army and many supplies. In those times, many will rise up against the king of the south. Violent ones among your own people will assert themselves to fulfill a vision, but they will fail. Then the king of the north will come, build up a siege ramp, and capture a well-fortified city. The forces of the south will not stand. Even their select troops will not be able to resist. The king of the north, who comes against him, will do whatever he wants, and no one can oppose him. He will establish himself in the beautiful land with total destruction in his hand. He will resolve to come to the force of his whole kingdom and will reach an agreement with him. He will give him a daughter in marriage to destroy it, but she will not stand with him or support him. Then he will turn his attention to the coasts and islands and capture many, but a commander will put an end to his taunting instead. He will turn his taunts against him. He will turn his attention back to the fortress of his own land, but he will stumble, fall, and be no more. In his place, one will arise who will send out a tax collector for the glory of the kingdom. But within a few days he will be broken, though not in anger or in battle. In his place, a despised person will arise. Royal honors will not be given to him, but he will come during a time of peace and seize the kingdom by intrigue. A flood of forces will be swept away before him. They will be broken as well as the covenant prince after an alliance is made with him. He will act deceitfully. He will rise to power with a small nation. During a time of peace, he will come into the richest part of the province and do what his fathers and predecessors never did. He will lavish plunder, loot, and wealth on his followers, and he will make plans against fortified cities, but only for a time. With a large army, he will stir up his power and his courage against the king of the south. The king of the south will prepare for battle with an extremely large and powerful army, but he will not succeed because plots will be made against him. Those who eat his provisions will destroy him. His army will be swept away, and many will fall slain. The two kings whose hearts are bent on evil will speak lies at the same table, but to no avail, for still the end will come at the appointed time. The king of the north will return to his land with great wealth, but his heart will be set against the holy covenant. He will take action, then return to his own land. At the appointed time, he will come again to the south. But this time will not be like the first. Ships of Kittim will come against him, and being intimidated, he will withdraw. Then he will rage against the holy covenant and take action on his return. He will favor those who abandon the holy covenant. His forces will rise up and desecrate the temple fortress. They will abolish the regular sacrifice and set up the abomination of desolation. With flattery he will corrupt those who act wickedly toward the covenant, but the people who know their God will be strong and take action. Those who have insight among the people will give understanding to many, yet they will fall by the sword and flame, and they will be captured and plundered for a time. When they fall, they will be helped by some, but many others will join them insincerely. Some of those who have insight will fall so that they may be refined, purified, and cleansed until the time of the end, for it will still come at the appointed time. Then the king will do whatever he wants. He will exalt and magnify himself above every god, and he will say outrageous things against the God of gods. He will be successful until the time of wrath is completed, because what has been decreed will be accomplished. He will not show regard for the gods of his ancestors, the God desired by women, or for any other god, because he will magnify himself above all. Instead, he will honor a God of fortresses, a God his ancestors did not know, with gold, silver, precious stones, and riches. He will deal with the strongest fortresses. With the help of a foreign god, he will greatly honor those who acknowledge him, making them rulers over many and distributing land as a reward. At the time of the end, the king of the south will engage him in battle, but the king of the north will storm against him. With chariots, horsemen, and many ships, he will invade countries and sweep through them like a flood. He will also invade the beautiful land, and many will fall, but these will escape his power. Edom, Moab, and the prominent people of the Ammonites, he will extend his power against the countries, and not even the land of Egypt will escape. He will get control over the hidden treasures of gold and silver, and over all the riches of Egypt. The Libyans and Cushites will also be in submission, but reports from the east and the north will terrify him, and he will go out with great fury to annihilate and completely destroy many. He will pitch his royal tents between the sea and the beautiful holy mountain, but he will meet his end with no one to help him. Chapter 12. At that time, Michael, the great prince who stands watch over your people, will rise up. There will be a time of distress, such as never has occurred since nations came into being until that time. But at that time, all your people who are found written in the book will escape. Many who sleep in the dust of the earth will awake, some to eternal life, and some to disgrace and eternal contempt. Those who have insight will shine like the bright expansion of the heavens, and those who lead many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever. But you, Daniel, keep these words secret, and seal the book until the time of the end. Many will roam about, and knowledge will increase. Then I, Daniel, looked, and two others were standing there, one on the bank of the river, and one on the other. One of them said to the man dressed in linen, who was above the water of the river, "How long until the end of these wondrous things?" Then I heard the man dressed in linen, who was above the water of the river. He raised both his hands toward heaven and swore by him who lives eternally that it would be for a time, times, and half a time. When the power of the holy people is shattered, all these things will be completed. I heard but did not understand, so I asked, "My Lord, what will be the outcome of these things?" He said, "Go on your way, Daniel, for the words are secret and sealed until the time of the end. Many will be purified, cleansed, and refined, but the wicked will act wickedly. None of the wicked will understand, but those who have insight will understand. From the time the daily sacrifice is abolished and the I don't know why I struggle with that. Abomination of desolation is set up. There will be 1,290 days. Happy is the one who waits for and reaches 1,335 days. But as for you, go on your way to the end. You will rest, and then you will rise to receive your allotted inheritance at the end of days." And that is it for Daniel. Before we go on to our questions, there is something that I think is rather interesting with this. I think that we can maybe take something for ourselves. So we see Daniel has a vision, right? And up to this point, whenever there's a vision, there's interpretation and it's shared. But Daniel has a vision here, and he asks what it means, and he's told it's secret. I think it is well within the realm of possibility that there are people who may get visions, may get a word from God, may hear something today, even hear something about someone that's not meant to be shared. Now, reasons can be different. It could be just preparing you that something is going to happen, and that way you're maybe mentally ready for something that happens and you can be there for somebody else. But God doesn't want you to try to interfere because that thing needs to happen, right? So I think there's a lot of different possibilities with this, but I do think that's an interesting thing, and that's something that I think we should think about, even if you feel like you have something from God, a message from God. God has given you a vision or a word about somebody or for somebody that's kind of directed to somebody. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to share it, or that you need to share it, or that God wants you to share it. I do think there's a time and place where maybe that needs to be kept for yourself. Okay, let's get to our questions. Question 1. What does Daniel 10 teach us about the unseen spiritual reality behind the events of history? This was interesting. There was a vision that Daniel saw that the others did not see, but they were terrified. Like, they ran away in fear and they hid, even though they didn't see anything. I think this does show that there may be events that have taken place throughout history that there has been a spiritual component to, that doesn't really necessarily make sense, or not that we necessarily see. I don't remember where I saw this from, but I think about with when Israel got their independence, or when they became a nation, and finally, like, there's one day where everybody pulled out, and they told Israel, like, you're on your own, and every nation around them attacked them, and Israel fought it off. I've heard stories about that time period where there was a much smaller force of Israelis fighting against another nation, and the other nation just, like, drops their weapons because they see all these, like, crazy looking, like, beings surrounding them, and there's a small group of Israelis that takes hostage, or takes capture, like double the amount of troops of the other side. A bunch of stories similar to that, where something like that, just like crazy, happens, and that's kind of what I think of in this situation. I think that's not the only case. I do think that there are maybe events in wars. I think maybe events in just history. Think about one that has happened fairly recently, is with President Trump. The attempt on him, where if he had not have turned his head at the exact moment, at the exact angle, it would have been done. But by chance, and I've heard him talk about it too, that there was this chart that was put in that he was talking about, and that chart is not something that he was going to go over, or he normally went over, and he just, for whatever reason, decided to put it in there, and then he was turning to look at the screen, and that's when it happened. I believe completely that was a spiritual thing. Question 2. In Daniel 12, God promises resurrection and eternal life. How does this shape the way we view suffering and perseverance now? I think it shows we can go through struggle, right? There's something good that happens with going through struggle, some type of a benefit spiritually that happens in suffering through difficulties and bad situations and stuff like that. I think we can see that all throughout Christianity and throughout Christian history, the Bible, and I think it's a pretty It's a powerful thing to think about, but it also goes hand in hand with knowing that this life isn't it. There's more beyond this life. Question 3. How can Daniel's faithfulness in the midst of overwhelming visions inspire us to trust God's sovereignty in uncertain times? Uh, know that God is in control. Even though you don't know what's coming up, know that you can trust God, you can trust His character. So even not knowing the next steps, not knowing what's going to come at you next, or what's going to be dropped on you next, or what you're going to walk into next, know that God is bigger than all of it. He is in control ultimately, and He wants what is best. That is something we need to walk in daily. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as all those things help the channel grow. If this has been a blessing to you, you can share it with somebody else. It can be a blessing to them, and word of mouth is the best way that podcasts grow as well. So that can be something that helps this channel as well. Come back every single day. We're going to have more content every single day. Bible reading plan. We're going through the Bible an entire year, different teachings, all kinds of just really great biblical sound stuff like that. So you're not going to want to miss it. Come back, subscribe. Thanks. God bless.